Hello and welcome to JBCTR. For those of you that are new, my name is Johnny and today we're installing a wireless charger in a MK8 Fiesta. Now, before we get into the installation of this wireless charger, let me take you back a few hours so we can take a look at the actual product itself. Now, when you receive the product, you'll receive a rather simple cardboard box with a nice in-bay charging logo on the front. Unboxing it itself is not too exciting really. You get everything you'd expect, so some instructions as to how you install it, although of course you don't need these because you have my awesome video to tell you how to install it, and obviously the charging bay itself. So when you've unwrapped it, let's get rid of that. As you can see, the finish on the top is like a non-slip kind of finish. And it feels pretty good actually. It feels very solid and it's a bit more weighty than I thought it was going to be too. And the last thing you get in the box is not that exciting, but it's the cables you need. And of course these are using reasonably kind of OEM style plugs that you can plug into your Ford existing plugs underneath the lighter socket. And yeah, it's pretty much plug and play. But let's get back to the installation and I'll show you how exactly you put this in.
First up, you'll need to remove the rubber mat that is present from the factory. Then take your trim remover tools and carefully remove the gear gaiter. Once removed, you can then remove the gear stick surround. This should come loose with a good tug. In the passenger footwell, remove this little trim cover, which I found to be a little stubborn, and this will reveal a T30 Torx screw. And you guessed it, you'll need to remove the T30 Torx screw to loosen the plastic trim. This will allow you to pull the cable through a little later on. Next up, unplug your lighter socket. There's a little tab that will need to be depressed on the rear of the plug in order to release it.
And now it's time to get drilling. Now, I understand this is perhaps a little bit scary, but where you're drilling is actually going to be hidden, and even if you were to go back to stock, where you're drilling is also hidden. But there are a few things that we need to be slightly careful with. Now, underneath where we're drilling is a whole bunch of wires, and for that reason, I suggest rather, that you use a Christmas tree built drill bit. Now I bought some just to do this job, a couple of quid off Amazon, not expensive, but the advantage of using a Christmas tree drill bit is that you can go as deep as you like without having that stabbing effect. So I mean, if you take a normal drill bit, as soon as you go through that plastic, you're going to get like a stab in the other side, and if you've got something important on the other side, not a good idea. But with a Christmas tree drill bit, you simply go in as far as you need, and then there's no stab at the end.
Begin drilling by inserting the nose of your drill bit into this little slot. Now, I only wanted to drill a hole as big as I needed it, so I stopped and tested the size of the plug. First time round it didn't fit, so I made the hole slightly wider and we were away. Now it's time to install the cabling, which is really quite easy. Simply plug one end into the OEM connector that previously fed the lighter socket and the other end into the lighter socket itself. And then the third smaller plug is the cabling that will power your QI charger. Take the small plug and slot it down this little gap here and feed it into the passenger footwell. Ensure that all wires surrounding the gear lever are tucked right out the way of the gear linkages before reinstalling the gear surround and the gear gaiter. Next, you'll need to feed the wire from the passenger footwell up through the hole you have just drilled. Now, this isn't easy and patience is required, so apologies for my terrible camera work here. But now, it's the exciting bit. Simply plug in the QI unit and place it in position. rebuild the trim in the passenger footwell and tighten up the T30 Torx screw. And now you can turn on the ignition, throw your phone in its new charging cradle and admire your handiwork.
So there you have it, that's how you install a wireless charging mat in a MK8 Fiesta. Now it doesn't have to be a Fiesta ST, it can be any Fiesta, which is quite cool. But the fact this is a Fiesta ST and now it's also running Revo software, I was a little bit skeptical about this product because by filling that void there with the wireless charger, I was worried that every time you accelerate, your phone would fly off. But thankfully, they have sunk it a little bit, so your phone just rests against a nice little lip. And as you saw, I've got an iPhone X, it fits absolutely perfectly despite having a huge case on it. So all in all, I'm actually quite impressed with it. I think it looks as if it's factory. Yeah, it's great. So there you have it. That is my fitting guide of a wireless charger in a MK8 Fiesta ST. Now, Beyond Products sent me this free of charge in exchange for a fair and honest review. There was no incentive for it to be positive, so if it was crap, I tell you, but in actual fact, I thought it was quite good. I like the fact you get a little beep when you put the phone down so you know it's charging, so you don't actually have to look at it at all. And yeah, generally the installation process wasn't too bad either. I was a little skeptical about drilling into my new car, I must admit, but where you're drilling is kind of non-intrusive. It's underneath a mat if you were to return it to stock, and obviously with the wireless charger it's underneath that too, so you can't see it anyway. So yeah, all in all, quite impressed. Installation's not too bad, and the product itself is pretty cool. So with that, if you would like one of these, I spoke with Beyond Products, and they're willing to offer you guys at home, viewers of my channel, 20% off. So use my code JBCTR20, which I'll put down the bottom, and you get 20% off. Not too bad, eh? Anyway, if you enjoyed this review, found it helpful, that kind of stuff, then feel free to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one.
There goes a sight from my soul.